What is it?
You're here. Don't worry, I have your pay. I'm just finishing my notes. Though, if I'm being honest, I'm not as confident as I once was that my theory is correct. How can I really know that my spell worked? Not really. My whole theory depends on the idea that a dragon buried in that mound could conceivably rise from the dead. We know necromancers can raise human skeletons, so why not dragons? That's what my ward is supposed to stop. No. I researched thoroughly to make it unbreakable, but I just don't know if it worked. I expected some kind of reaction, but there was nothing. I don't know. What do you think? How should I... You're right. I've always been self-conscious about my ideas. Too many competing scholars back home. But I created a competent ward, and if anyone tries to raise that dragon, they'll fail. I'm sure of it. Now, I need to get up the nerve to report my findings. Part of that includes telling Gabrielle that I went against her wishes. Hopefully she'll go easy on me. Thank you for listening, and for all your help. Oh wait, we're not done yet! I promised you compensation for your help, and I'm a Breton of my word. I know it's not much, but take this. And may we never see dragons over solitude. Thank you for all your advice about the Antiquarian Circle. Who knows? Maybe we'll have another adventure together. If I know Gabrielle, I need to spend some time getting my details right. I might even go back out there for some more research. And don't worry, one of the more experienced antiquarians here has offered to help me. And then I go brave the lioness in her den. That's a very Breton way of saying I will present my facts and make the case that I'm right. And I am right.
the male moth historian. You brought Male Moth's journal back? Good. I assume that the Mad Mage's ramblings did not lead you and your greedy dark elf friend to any fabled treasures. People often forget to return guild property. What a welcome surprise. And even better, you didn't bring that shifty mudmouth with you. It brings me... I simply cannot wait to throw Narcissus Dren's next opus in the waste bin. He's a terrible writer. I won't allow his books on my shelves. Safe travels. And if you ever see Narcissus again, be sure to give him a firm kick in the shin for me.
Keep your weapons sharp and close. Try not to be superstitious. Bring it back. Well?
Help! Assassins in the palace! Help!
That's one of the Queen's attendants. Let's get inside.
Be strong, Svana.
Mother! No! No!
Svana, your father, the kingdom. Watch over.
Mother! No! You can't die! Mother!
Sire, the assassins might return. You must get to somewhere safe.
Have Yoren's lackeys come to gloat?
We came here to warn you, Your Highness.
And yet my wife lies dead,
If you had listened to us...
like she did. If I determine Yoren had a hand in this, there will be war! Someone take care of my wife!
Father, please.
Gods, what a disaster. The Queen's been assassinated and Svargrim still refuses to listen to reason. We need to find a way to set things right. Good question. The guards should have been able to handle a run-of-the-mill assassin. This could be connected to the Ice Reach Coven. In fact, I'd wager my axe that it is. Look around. See if you can find any indication of how the assassin got in and out of the palace so easily. Maybe even turn up something that ties the murderer to the Coven. I'll make sure the princess is all right. Svana's taking this pretty hard. I suppose most daughters feel close to their mothers. Not that I'd know, I never knew my mother. Sorry, don't mind me. Did you find anything that might lead us to the assassin? We've seen these medallions before. On the Reachman near Kilcreath. And I saw them on the witches in Icereach. The assassin definitely seems to be in league with the Coven. But can we get Svargrim to believe that and accept the danger he's in? Svargrim has every right to be angry. He watched his wife die right before his eyes. But he's the High King. He doesn't have the right to be stupid. Time to make Svargrim confront some hard truths. Come on, the Sword Thane led the king upstairs. We need to see the High King.
I should think not. The High King is in mourning. He's not to be disturbed.
The Queen's wasn't the only life lost today. Now get out of our way.
Go right in.
Your Highness, please. Your kingdom is in grave danger.
My queen's blood hasn't yet cooled, and already Yoren's lackeys hound me.
We have proof that the Coven threatening your kingdom is responsible for the Queen's death. Show him, partner.
Does Yoren think me so weak that he believes his half-giant can twist my arm and fill my head with lies? I am not so easily duped, outsider. Reach witches. They pose no threat. We've beaten back those wild dogs time and time again, while our brothers to the east bow down to a poetry-writing milk drinker. I will not be lectured on such matters by the likes of you. Tales told around campfires to scare the children. Storms happen here all the time, and none of them spawn monsters. The last spy who spoke of such things, well, he no longer speaks of such things. I am the Wolf of Solitude. I know my enemies. You dishonor my wife's name by letting it pass through your treacherous lips. Away with you! And pray I don't find evidence that ties you to the Queen's murder. That would not go so well for you.
We'll leave you to your grief, Your Highness.
Is it true? Mother told me you were working for her before she...
I'm sorry, Svana. I would have saved her if I could.
My mother. She told me she gave the mighty Lyris Titanborn an important task. Tell me, what were you doing for my mother? Threat? What threat? And do you think this is why someone came into the palace and killed her? And did you tell my father all this? Is he rallying the soldiers? Alerting the other holds? My father sees Yoren's plots everywhere, even in his spicy venison stew. Well, I won't let my mother's death be for nothing. She trusted you, and so will I. My father be damned. Please, find whoever did this and stop them. I saw the assassin. He moved fast. Unbelievably fast. He leaped through the window after stabbing my mother. By that time, the guards had gathered, so I guess he decided to flee. Try to follow his trail. Someone outside must have seen something. He was fast, that's for certain. Here and gone before the guards could even draw their swords. Other than that, I didn't get a good look. The inside of his hood was nothing but shadows. No. My mother... The last time we spoke, I hurled a mug at her. But I came when she summoned me, just in time to see her murdered. I need to pull myself together. She asked me to watch over my father. The kingdom. I can't let her down. My father? Listen to me? When horkers fly, maybe. But probably not even then. He gave up on me a long time ago. I'm sorry. I'm no use to you. No use to anyone. I'm not my mother. Never will be. But I swear I'll do whatever I can to help you. You have my word on that.
Come on, Princess. Let's get you somewhere safe.
Don't call me princess. Just Svanna. There's nothing noble about me.
I could use a break.
What?
My wife. She is like ice. So cold. So pale. All the warmth sucked out of her. There was a commotion at the palace. Everyone was headed that way. Except one man. No, not a man. He wore an eye patch, but his face was bestial. He dragged her along like a bone between a dog's teeth, and he tossed her aside, pale as snow. He was fast, so fast, ran toward the Hall of the Dead. He never even looked back at what he had done.
The only fish that go with the river's flow are the dead ones.
Will you pray with me for these poor souls, cut down and bound for the Hall of the Dead much too soon? It was a monster, a vampire. I have seen such creatures before, but this one wore an eye patch. It moved like a shadow and took sustenance from these poor souls. I called upon Arkay's grace, and the vampire fled before his sacred presence. Toward the main gate, I pray the guard finished off the depraved creature before it took another innocent life.
You again? Didn't I warn you about putting your nose where it doesn't belong? A vampire? I don't know what you're talking about. But whoever it was tore out Senolia's throat and fled through the gate before I could stop him. What do you know about all this? And why is it any of your business? The Queen's dead? What about the High King? He'll have my head for letting the assassin slip away. Yeah. It's not like I opened the gate and let him slink off. The real problem's at the palace. No more questions. I've got to secure the gate and take care of poor Senolia.
This is Svargrim's fault. He should have heeded us from the start. Damn Svargrim and his distrust of Yoren. How many more of his people have to die before he accepts the truth and lets us help him? Forget that for now. Tell me about the assassin. Did anyone get a good look at the murderer? That would explain the assassin's swiftness and ability to escape so easily. We knew the Ice Reach Coven had vampires on their side, but using them so blatantly. Anything else to report? Well then, time to fight fire with fire. They've got evil vampires, and we've got a friendly one. Let's find out exactly what your friend Fen knows about vampire clans in the area. Where did you tell me? Right, to research the ritual. Go find them and see what you can learn. I'll stay with Svanna. Bring her up to speed on everything we've uncovered. We're going to need her to get the High King to trust us. And I'm calling him Fen. It's simpler.
No need to mention me to Princess Svan.
Morthal lies to the southeast of Solitude. Bog farmers, mostly. The clever woman's camp is probably northwest of it.
Welcome to the middle of nowhere, my friend. You must be freezing. Warm yourself by the fire, and tell me how your audience with the High King went. A bold move, even for them. Old Mjolnir and I have been comparing notes, and we've made some progress studying the Harrowstorm ritual. What happened to your large friend with the axe, by the way? We knew that vampires were working with the Coven. And old Mjolnir and I can say with certainty that the feral Harrow Fiends are byproducts of Harrow Storms. You think the assassin was one of the vampires in league with the Coven? An eye patch? That's uncommon. And this insignia, I've seen it before. It's the same as the symbol that decorates the urns smuggled out of Bankarai. If it belongs to a vampire bloodline, I'm not familiar with it. I suggest you ask Mjolnir.
I had thought after our dealings with bone wolves and curses, you would find other ways to amuse yourself for a time. Yet here you are again, right in the midst of more problems. What can a grim talisman? It bears an enchantment of some kind, though the symbol upon it holds no significance that I'm aware of. I can help find the owner of this medallion, but I need some specific items to cast such a divination. Bring me the bones of a wolf and a head of by its roots. I need to plant a knife. The wolf, not so much. With those reagents, I can conjure a divination that will lead you directly to the last person to wear this medallion. Death bell grows throughout the bog. You should have no trouble acquiring it. Wolves are plentiful in the wilderness around Morthal as well, but be cautious. Many seem afflicted by a strange curse. I would hate for you to run afoul of it. An icy rime clings to the wolves, sapping the heat and life from their bodies until only a frigid, shambling corpse remains. You are safe from them here, but be mindful out in the wild. Welcome back. Warm yourself by the fire, and tell me about the reagents I requested. Good, good. Divinations can be fickle. The longer we delay, the colder the trail grows. Let's see if we can catch the scent of your prey. Mother Wolf, hear me. We seek your blessing in our hunt. Lead us to our elusive quarry. Mother Wolf smiles upon you. She has seen fit to join your pack and aid you in your hunt. Mother Wolf has the scent and will lead you to your quarry. I have enchanted the medallion with a divination spell inextricably linked to its owner. Hold it to your nose and breathe deeply. It will guide you along his trail. Mother Wolf will guide you along the way, but you must still complete the hunt and find him. If the assassin eludes you, use the medallion to recover his trail. The wolf is relentless in her pursuit. The question is, will you be like the wolf?
Look! The magic points to the west.
One pipe is enough.
Continue the offerings. streets. Your struggle is doomed to failure. The assassin drained her of blood. Judging by this, he must have been desperate to feed while trying to escape. Is it wrong to find these visions so intriguing? This one showed your assassin again, eye patch and all, by a cave near a waterfall. And the ball of magicka drifted toward the west again. I suggest we go that way as quickly as possible. There's nothing we can do for her. The vampire assassin drained all the blood from her body. He took his time with her, I think. Probably needed to recover his strength after the events at the palace. Let's get after him before the trail grows cold.
I'll deal with you next time you fight.
Once again, I prove that I'm a scholar, not a warrior. I don't think he expected another vampire, though. I found the camp. Thought it was deserted, but the assassin must have been hiding in the shadows. He got the drop on me. It had more to do with your arrival than anything I did. Luckily, he left behind his belongings when he departed. I saw a map and some documents over there. Why don't you take a look while I deal with this wound? I didn't get a good look at that before. Mind bringing it over? Let me take a look at what you found. The letters are both addressed to the vampire assassin. Hentark Korb. That's an unusual title. This one gives the order to assassinate the queen, though the language is guarded. The other talks about miners and a final ritual. Very ominous. It looks like a map to a mine in Carthald. It could be the one mentioned in the letter. If that's the target of another Harrowstorm ritual, we need to stop it. Head south to the mine. I'll get word to Lyris and have him meet you there. My particular habits aside, one of us needs to find the assassin, and the other needs to alert Lyris Titanborn. I can handle the latter. Besides, I have no intention entering Solitude. A courier should have no trouble picking Lyris out of a crowd.
As evil lairs go, I'm not impressed.
I'll take that as a good sign. As I said, your large friend is easy to spot in a crowd. We got here as quickly as we could.
We think this old mine is where our assassin fled to. Good a place as any to bury him. The clever woman helped you track the Queen's assassin to his hideout in Chillwind Depths. He got away, but left behind evidence that the Coven's planning another Harrow Storm in this mine, and we're going to wreck those plans. I miss anything? Good. Less chance of them scurrying away if they think they have the advantage. I'm tired of chasing these rats through the shadows. Are you ready to end this? These tunnels better be dug on the large size. Ha! Scaffolding. Let's follow it down.
Careful. The structure doesn't appear to be completely stable.
Relax. It'll take more than a rickety structure to take down Lyra's Titan Lord.
Actually, I was more concerned for my own well-being. But if you insist.
I think there's a cavern up ahead. Again. Like beneath Eastmarch. Does it extend below all of Skyrim?
Blackreach. So the legends are true. But why is there a town down here? My research into Skyrim included the legends of Blackreach, of course. But I never expected to see it. It's massive. That letter you found in the assassin's hideout. It mentioned a mining consortium in the darkness below. Could this be the place? Right. If the assassin is part of a vampire clan working with the Coven, I couldn't imagine a better hiding place than this land of constant night. My guess is that most of the miners have no idea what they've gotten themselves into. You and Lyra should. It's our best lead for finding the assassin. But if the miners have even an inkling of vampire activity down here, my presence might confuse the issue. I'm sure I can find something to do while you investigate the town. I'll keep out of sight and check the surrounding area while you and Lyris investigate the town. Meet me on the far side of town when you're finished, and we'll compare notes. Most of the legends are superstitious nonsense. It was once supposedly ruled by the dwarves, though. If that's true, we'll see their ruins. There are also a lot of tales about monsters. Pale, feral humanoids, giant insects. Be on your guard.
Blackreach. Again. It must be vast to extend this far from Eastmarch. Can't believe people are living down here. No. But all the evidence you found suggests he's down here somewhere. Let's go see what the miners can tell us. But be ready for anything. This place has ambush written all over it. Let's split up. Take a look around. Ask some questions. If the assassin passed through that ramshackle town, maybe someone saw him. Call out if you run into trouble, but don't make a move until we're all back together. We can cover more ground that way. And lone travelers are less conspicuous than a large group. Plus, if one of us gets into trouble, the others can come to the rescue. Just stay close to the town. We don't want to become totally separated down here.
Did those two idiots set these things throughout all of Blackreach? Watch your step, stranger. A couple of so-called ghost hunters laid traps all over the place. They insist that it's to catch spirits, haunting the mines. They don't leave soon. The only thing they'll be catching is my boot to their backside. Blackreach isn't for the faint of heart. When we first came down here, we lost people to animal attacks. That's gotten better, but now everyone's spooked about a few missing miners. Most don't realize it's not uncommon for workers to wander off. No, my wife Elle hired them. She said they'd ease people's minds, but the hawkers are only making things worse. You look capable. If you could expose them for the charlatans they are, Elle would kick them out. What do you say? It's a paying job. The spirit-chasing fools are down in the settlement, likely setting more traps for people to trip over. The damn things covered one of my workers in paint and nearly took off his leg earlier. Shaw's bones. I wish my wife hadn't hired these idiots. We call it Dusktown. It's the Bitterblade Mining Consortium settlement. We're not a big organization. There's only about a dozen of us. Most of the work that goes on here is under the table. We're a small operation, but sturdy. Well, there's no shortage of rare materials, that's for sure. But most of what we find is an abundance of creatures that want to sink their teeth into us. It's dangerous work, but everyone who signed on knew the risks going in. Yes, but you'll do well to remember that the mines are strictly off-limits to anyone who isn't under my employ. If you're looking for work, come find me once you run off these ghost-hunting buffoons. Until then, I recommend you keep your distance. Blackreach is a hard place. You spend any amount of time down there and you'll learn that quick. Unfortunately, some people forget that and get in their heads to go exploring. That's usually the last we see of them. Wandered off and got eaten, more like. Either that or the darkness got to them. The isolation, the lack of sun. We've learned how to stay safe down here, but you can't protect people from everything. Especially not their own minds. Watch your back.
We have a visitor.
Ah, hello! You're rather strapping, aren't you? If you're here about the traps, there's no need to worry. Claudina fixed them right up. She's really quite good at this. I can almost guarantee that they won't trip anyone else today. Spirits, of course. Ideally, the ones that have been terrorizing these poor people. My mentor and I have been given the important responsibility of investigating the mysterious disappearances down here. We're supernatural specialists of a sort. We're perilously close. Claudina has been doing this for years. She's practically an expert. I'm just her apprentice, but so far there hasn't been a case that we couldn't solve. Dusktown is in capable hands. Leave? But we're so close to figuring this out. If we just had a little more time, and maybe a set of extra hands? You look very clever. I'm sure if you joined us, we'd solve this in no time. Interested? Claudina would reward you, I'm sure. We identified a few spots with reported spiritual activity. Here, take Claudina's notes. The hope is that placing traps here will increase our chances of capturing an entity, and figuring out what happened to the missing miners. Exciting, right? I'm not sure. I used to try and guess the conclusions of our cases, but I was almost always wrong. Claudina says not to speculate too early. Each case is different and requires a different approach. I hope the missing people are safe at any rate. Me? Oh, I'm practically no one. I'm just a mage that never really fit in anywhere. That is, until I heard of Claudina's exploits. I've always been obsessed with her work, so I tracked her down and begged her to take me on as her assistant. I don't possibly have the time to tell you of her many amazing exploits. Claudina is a renowned figure when it comes to the study of the supernatural. She's had a lustrous career and published much of her work. You should read some. She's my hero. It wasn't easy. Claudina built her business herself. After her husband died, she used his fortune to pursue her studies, and has been on her own ever since. But I think she saw the benefit in a pair of young hands, and an eager mind. Oh, what a wonderful question. I won't bore you with the details, though they are fascinating. Essentially, these traps will magically weaken the spirit. Once it passes through the physical barrier, the warding spells render it unable to move. Absolutely! My very first case with Claudina, we captured a very powerful ghost with such a trap. I'll never forget. It burst forth from the wardrobe and I nearly died of fright. Thankfully, Claudina pushed me out of the way, just in time.
Phoebe convinced you to help us, did she? You have my thanks. But I hope you're prepared to work. This is a very serious responsibility. We owe it to these people to ease their fears. This is my life's work. I do not take it lightly. My name is Claudina Ildine. I deal in the supernatural and strange. Sometimes that means reuniting families with their lost loved ones that were taken too soon. Other times it means hunting dark, malicious spirits in ancient ruins. Phoebe and I go where there is need. Our work often takes us to strange places, though I will admit this place tops the list. There are restless spirits everywhere. They exist on the peaks of mountains, just as they do in the underbelly of the earth. It's too soon to tell. I have endless theories, but I need more evidence. I would be happy to indulge your curiosities after our business here is concluded. But, as it stands, I cannot afford to become distracted by mere possibilities.
What an exciting case! I simply must write down this new development.
Focus on the task at hand, Phoebe. There will be time for that later.
You're back! Did you have any trouble setting up the traps? Great work! You're a natural. Have you ever considered making this your life's work? It's really quite rewarding, and you certainly have the aptitude for it. Anyway, I'm sure Elle will be relieved to hear that they're all set up now. Elle Bitterblade, the head of Dusktown. She hired us, though she's been understandably doubtful since her husband, Overseer Earlvar, kicked us out of the mines earlier. Maybe you could help smooth things over by telling her the traps are set up? Oh, thank you so much. Claudina and I are good with the spirit side of things, but we struggle with people. If you talk to Elle and assure her that we're doing everything we can, she'd probably feel better. She should be right outside the mines. Well, remember what I said earlier about the traps? We had an incident with the mine foreman, but he wasn't in any danger. We freed his leg easily and got all the paint off. We fixed the traps, but Nonetheless, the mines are off limits to us now.
Bother someone else, Hawker. If I don't finish this by the end of my shift, the Overseer will have my hide. What do I look like? The town crier? If the Overseer wanted us to be observant, he wouldn't have blindfolded us when he brought us here. You weren't? Up to this point, the Overseer and his wife have been extra careful about keeping the exact location of this mine and the mining town a secret. What makes you special, I wonder? Well, I haven't seen anyone like that. Now pick up a shovel and help me, or hork off. I can't afford to lose this job.
Well?
You must be new to Dusktown. You've still got that look. Well, get settled in. You won't be allowed topside again until you complete your contract. So you... A prisoner? No. Why would you think that? But we did sign a contract. Promised to stay until the work was done and never breathe a word. Otherwise, being a bonded miner with the Bitterblade Mining Consortium is a lucrative opportunity. Can't say that I have. And I haven't seen any ghosts or monsters either, come to think of it. Even though the rest of the town can't stop talking about them. Anyway, welcome aboard and good mining. Oh, don't let the rumors scare you. Miners are a superstitious lot. And being this far underground can play havoc with your senses. If you need to know anything else about Dusktown or working for the Bitterblade Mining Consortium, just ask. You mean those fools setting up their ghost traps? They're harmless. And if they make the superstitious miners feel better, I'm all right with that. El and Overseer Erlvar have been nothing but fair and honest with all of us. El Bitterblade, she owns the consortium. Erlvar's her husband and our Overseer. They built Dusktown to support their claim. They're savvy business folk. Secretive, but that goes with the territory when you break a new mine. What a curious question. This whole place was tailor-made for undesirables. Tunnels, sunken barrows, dwarven ruins, lots of secluded spots. But don't worry, we're the only ones down here. El's precautions make sure of that. Same as most of us, I reckon. I saw a posting in a tavern, talked to an agent, signed some papers, and here I am. Well, after they blindfolded me and walked me all over snow and creation. The work is hard.
What a waste of time. These people have no clue as to what's going on down here. I wonder if being stupid was part of their service contract. Did you turn up anything? Just because no one saw him doesn't mean he wasn't here. Let's talk to Fen before we start turning this place inside out. Maybe he's had better luck. Right, skulking in the shadows. Lead the way. I'm right behind you.
Grumon, please. There's no need for alarm.
But Captain Agaron is missing now. Who will protect us?
We don't need protection. We're perfectly safe.
You're wrong. There's something evil haunting this place, and we're its next victims.
I hope this investigation wraps up quickly. There's work to be done. Are you another one of that woman's assistants? Look, when I hired those two, they assured me that they had things well in hand.
But we've got another person missing, and my people are scrambling over themselves in their fear. My town guard, Captain Agron. He was last seen at the administrative offices, but then he didn't show up for his posting. He just up and vanished, same as the others. Possibly, but I wouldn't have taken Captain Agron for a deserter. If you're helping those ghost hunters, would you take a look in the offices? My people are scared. I'd like to have a working theory to give them, at least. Here, take my keys. They'll give you access. But please, keep your investigation out of the mines. After that incident this morning, Erlvar only wants workers down there. Best to keep everyone safe. At this point, I'm ready to believe it's all a grand joke being played at my expense. I don't know if it's just miners wandering off, or if it's malevolent spirits. But if this doesn't get figured out soon, my whole operation is going under. I started this venture with my husband. Supposing all of this chaos doesn't completely ruin us, our goal is to be the first to capitalize on Blackreach's frontier. A few days ago, I would have told you we were doing just that. Now, I'm not so sure.
What? This is the place, Claudina. The locals say Captain Agron disappeared from this very spot.
It's locked. We must find a way inside.
Greetings, traveler. A new face around Dusktown is always welcome. I provide spiritual guidance to those who might need it. I am here for the laborers, but if you desire counsel, I will avail myself to you. Just...
Oh good, you're just in time. We've hit a wall in the investigation. How did it go with Elle? Oh, great! That's wonderful! Now we don't have to find another way inside. I keep telling Claudina you're a natural. You've just taken to all of this so splendidly. I'm thrilled you get to participate in the ceremony. I envy you, getting to experience it for the first time. Basically, if Captain Agron disappeared here, there might be some kind of spiritual residue left over from whatever took place. We need to conduct a ritual to try and harness it. Here, you take the spirit summoning whistle. When I spread the salts, you blow it. And if there are any spirits remaining in the area, the tone will force them out of hiding. It's a big responsibility, but I know you're ready for it. It varies by situation, but I've seen it work well over a dozen times. Some spirits find it more annoying than anything, but others are very susceptible to the sound. There are few supernatural beings that can ignore it, however. The air is powerful. Don't you think, Claudina? We're onto something. All right. Here go the smelling salts. Get ready with the whistle. Do you hear that? It's coming from upstairs.
Slow down, Phoebe. Be vigilant, not hurry.
Did you see that basket move?
Phoebe, wait. What have I told you about jumping to conclusions? You'll have to forgive Phoebe. She's still young, and for all her scholarly knowledge, she's prone to startling at the slightest provocation. Did you find anything worthwhile? Let me see that. This is from Erlvar, the mine overseer. Could it be mere coincidence that the town guard investigating the mystery of the miners just happens to be the next to go missing? I think not. There is something amiss here. I have some idea. There's one just below, tucked away in the back of the town. Phoebe may be indisposed for the moment, so I'm counting on you to join me. Keep her whistle on you. We may need it.
What was all that screaming?
Elf! No worries here. All part of the process, I assure you.
I'm certain these are the caves mentioned in the letter. Use the spirit whistle here. What was that? It came from inside.
Acheron, no! Gods, no! Captain Acheron, he's dead. How can he be dead? This wasn't supposed to happen. None of this was supposed to happen. I don't know. I was supposed to meet Captain Acheron, but as I passed the caves, I heard a cry. I ran in to find him bleeding out. He died before I could ask what happened. Acheron was a fine man. He didn't deserve this fate. This is unacceptable. No, I didn't. You two need to leave. Stop investigating this. Gather your assistant, pack your things, and get out of Blackreach. This is getting far too dangerous, and I don't want to see anyone else get hurt. Please. We're wasting time. Just go.
We need to talk. I feel Overseer Erlvar knows more than he told us. The last thing we should do is heed his advice to quit now. That I do not know, but he seems to be increasingly agitated as we continue to investigate. I may deal in spirits more often than I deal with the living, but I know when I'm being led by the nose. He's hiding something. Let's find out what. Captain Acheron's wounds are fresh, which means the culprit can't have gone far. We didn't see anything on our way in, so whatever attacked him must have left through the other side of the cave. We should see if we can come. It can't have gone far. Look! Whatever killed Captain Acheron must have triggered one of our traps. There's footprints. Curious. Spirits don't use trapdoors.
Well?
You're just in time. I spotted the vampire with the eye patch. He met with the Coven Witch, who immediately ordered her lackeys to place witch pikes around the area. With arcane phenomena, anything's possible. If we hurry, we can stop this Harrowstone before it causes any damage. You and Lyris should split up. We need to destroy all of the witch pikes. I'll track the Queen's assassin and the Coven Witch. You focus on stopping the Harrowstorm. I'll find you after that, and we'll confront the vampire and the witch together.
Move. You take the east side, I'll take the west. Then meet in the middle.
Shadows. We cannot afford to be seen. A strange mist. Follow it. It's Urva. Stay low.
Broik, killing Captain Agron was not part of our deal.
I am a vampire, Urvar. I have needs. I made that clear when you hired me.
I hired you to protect my people. This was not what we agreed. You've taken it too far.
Who are you to reprimand me? You haven't seen too far. Just wait.
It's all beginning to make sense. Overseer Urvar employed a vampire to protect the mine. How dastardly. I believe that explains the missing miners quite succinctly. He must have given the vampire people in exchange for protection for the rest of his workers. But from what, I wonder? Not yet. Despite our ingenious detective work, right now it's still the Overseer's word against ours. And he's already given Elle reason to distrust us. What we need is definitive proof, then she'll have to listen. I believe the Overseer's office is just across the mine. We should investigate. Of course, we have to find a way in first. Perhaps you could pick the lock, or steal his key. I'm somewhat out of my element now. Excellent. You are truly the purveyor of justice Phoebe made you out to be. Just be careful. If we manage to get ourselves caught, we won't get the chance to prove anything.
Must have left it at the shop.
What did you find? That look on your face. Tell me you found something. And explains what he was trying to protect his people from. It is not enough to simply turn this evidence over to El. I was hired to help this town. Spirits or no, I have a responsibility. We must stop this horror. The vampire seemed as though he was threatening Overseer Erlvar at the end of their altercation. Perhaps he's planning some kind of retaliation. If so, there's a chance we could catch him in the act if we find him. We need to investigate the mines. There has to be a clue that will point us in the direction of that monster. Let's leave here. Dusktown needs us. This has to be the vampire's doing. I bet he didn't stop at one. Look for more. The vampire. Follow him. Stay out of sight. We have to stop him. Curse him. We'll never be able to catch him like this. How do we apprehend a man who can vanish into thin air right before our eyes? Vampires do not obey the same laws as specters and ghosts. My tools would be useless against him. Unless... Phoebe's whistle. Do you still have it? It's designed to emit a tone that's unsavory to immortal creatures. Perhaps it will disturb him. It's impossible to say without evidence. But it wasn't made specifically with spirits in mind, so there is a chance. Go on, try it. This is the only plan we've got.
My head!
There he goes. Follow him. More bodies. He's leaving a trail. Come, he's not getting away.
You'll die like all the rest.
We have our proof. Let us return to Dusktown.
Captain Thayer certainly found a bumper crop of guard recruits at Hoarfrost Downs. I wonder how he did it.
This is ridiculous. You can't waltz in here and accuse me of such a thing.
My husband would never do something so insane. I don't suppose you have any proof?
Proof? What proof could they possibly have?
You and your associates accuse my husband of outrageous actions. Making deals with monsters? Murder? I hope you have a damn good reason. Let me see that. Donors? But I don't understand. You can't mean... Erlvar was feeding innocent minors to a vampire in order to keep everyone safe? How could this happen? How could I not have known? These were my people! The fact that he realized he was in over his head doesn't excuse the abhorrent decision in the first place. This is sickening. We both want to protect our people, but to think he'd resort to something so barbaric. You're right. We would have been left to wonder and kept losing people were it not for you and those two over there. Just tell me one thing. Did you kill the vampire responsible? Good. Good. At least there's that. Erlvar, you foolish man. What have you done?
Another case solved. Though we weren't dealing in spirits today, I have no doubt you'd make a fine ghost hunter. You have a natural talent for investigation. Elle has my sympathy. It is not easy to condemn someone you love. She's strong. She will be fine. Anyway, it was an honor to work with you. If you ever find yourself tangled in the world of spirits again, I do hope you'll seek us out. Here, take this for your time. You undoubtedly deserve it. You know, I think Phoebe looks up to you. You've become a point of inspiration for her. I know we both hope our paths cross again. Perhaps. I still sense dark energies here. This place writhes with uneasy spirits. Overseer Erlvar was the culprit this time, but with him removed, perhaps the true spiritual mysteries of Blackreach will unravel themselves. Happiness is not something I often associate with my line of work. Dealing with the dead is often a somber affair, but dealing with the living can be too, I suppose. I am merely satisfied with our end result.
I only did what I thought was necessary. I had no choice. We couldn't stop the attacks ourselves. We would have kept losing people if I hadn't made a deal with him. And At least working with Bruick allowed me to control our losses. Losing one worker a week instead of 5 felt worth it. No. I thought I had him in the palm of my hand. I provided him with a steady supply of blood, and I mistakenly thought that meant he relied on our working arrangement. He showed me the error of my ways. Now I'm paying the price for it.
I hope our 2 ghost hunters won't judge me too harshly for being a thorn in their side. Without them looking into this, Earlvar would never have been exposed. I gave them a hard time, but they never gave up on Dusktown. I owe them. I'm not giving up on this venture. Bitterblade Mining Consortium doesn't need Earlvar, and neither do I. Now that we know what we're dealing with, we can take more reasonable measures to keep people safe. We're not sacrificing anyone else. Maybe, but we can take precautions. It won't be perfect, but it's a lot better than giving up innocent people. Earlvar thought that was the only way to save Dusktown, but he was desperate, and he panicked. I won't make the same mistake.
I did what was needed. You should be thanking me.
Earlvar, you fool!
You did it! I can't believe this was only your first case. You were incredible. You remind me of Claudina. Oh, I want to be more like both of you. Fearless, strong, unbeatable. Thank you for stepping up to help. We couldn't have done this without you. Yes and no. I was rather excited about the possibility of encountering a spirit down here. This is unmapped territory in both the physical and spiritual sense, after all. But I am glad we were able to help these people. It feels good to be of use. I'm not quite sure. Claudina and I travel all over, wherever the work takes us. But wherever we end up, I hope you'll seek us out. Next time you see me, I'll be much braver and have quite a few more cases under my belt.
I've been trying to keep an eye on him.
I only did what I thought.
What do you want? Yeah!
All this time, the Overseer was working with a vampire. I knew there was something unpleasant about him.
All those people disappeared and the Overseer was behind it all along. That's terrible.
Stop the Harrowstone before it could even get started. Now to deal with the vampire and the witch. Well done, my friend. Before the witch could even begin her ritual, I saw the magicka disappear like the flame of a snuffed candle. The witch and the vampire assassin fled to Coggentham's, a dwarven ruin. We can deal with them in there. Time is of the essence. You get to the ruin, I'll find Lyris and we'll meet you there. It's southeast of Dusktown. If you get there before us, go inside and guard the entrance until we arrive.
Yeah! Yeah!
Hold on! 27 geode crates, 15 pickaxes, 5 wheelbarrows, 42 fresh tourniquets. Okay, yeah, there's a lot to do, so I don't have much time. What is it? Corpse, eh? Well, call me not surprised. He never was any good at this. Always came off like he was better than us working folk. But the only thing he was good at was slacking. Alright, I'll pay you for his samples. Yeah, so what? He was going to die sooner or later. I didn't make him take the job, so him being dumb don't make me guilty. Just give me my samples and move along. Judging by this bag, it looks like he died for nothing. Figures. Now I got to find a miner who actually knows how to prospect. Well, I said I'd pay you, so here you are. Fuck off, pal. No time for useless chatter. Oh, boo-hoo. Mining is expensive and hard. It's even harder down here. Miners only survive when they're tough. How about you take your friendly and move along?
We're here. Let's find this assassin.
presence of other vampires. Feral fiends. Rituals. But they must have brought them from someplace else.
Chase? I kept you busy long enough. Sister Stardust are bad exiles.
That's for Queen Gertrude, you bastard.
Now we need to find Sister Stardust. You listen in. I'll unlock the door.
Rise, Exarch, and be reborn!
The Ashen Lord commands it, and so we live once more, Ulfra.
Alive again? How?
You have the Ice Reach Coven to thank for that, werewolf.
Using my recipes, witch.
I meant no disrespect to Exarch Singalis.
We're being watched, brother.
Next time, Tharda, the Ashen Lord, will expect more than the restoration of a single reliquary. Now deal with the intruders, or I'll toss you to the Harrow Fiends.
Come out, little skeevers. Come out and play with Sister Tharda.
How many of your sisters am I gonna have to kill before you give up?
My dear sisters, our vengeance will plague you beyond the grave.
go after the other two.
You saw it too, right? That werewolf shed that statue like a snake sheds its skin. Was she inside that stone husk the whole time, waiting to be awakened? Or did the ritual somehow summon her into that vessel? There's a lot I still don't understand. A ritual, obviously. Remember the altar at Kilcreath? We found the urn, the reliquary, and shards from a large stone vessel. I think they were the remains of one of those stone husks. I'm not sure how, but it all ties back to the Harrowstorms. I thought the purpose of the Harrowstorms were to create Harrow Fiends, but now I think that's only a byproduct. The storm somehow gathered energy that the witch used to summon Ulfra, the werewolf. Ulfra seems to think she was brought back to life. I've come to the conclusion that anything is possible where magic is concerned. I'm going to look around with Lyris, then return to Old Mjolnir to finish studying the witchpike residue. Maybe that will help me understand how the ritual works. Theoretically, using my knowledge of alchemy and Old Mjolnir's understanding of reach magic, we should be able to figure something out once we know what components were used in the ritual. I don't know of any Ashen Lord, but Exarch. I came across the term after the incident at the mass grave in Banquerai. It's a rank used by the ancient army. Its members were buried in that unhallowed grave, and their remains were smuggled here. The Grey Host. It was an army of vampires and werewolves that rampaged across Hammerfell during the First Era. There aren't a lot of records remaining, and even the burial site was a closely held secret. Exarch was a rank, like General, I suppose. I don't know. But that's the impression I got from the witch's conversation with the Exarchs. I wish I knew more about this Sengalis and Ulfra, though. And the Ashen Lord, for that matter. That's why I want to check the ritual site.
Damn it! The vampire and the werewolf are long gone. They called themselves Sengalis and Ulfra. And they had an unusual rank or title, Exarch. I wonder what that means. Yeah, I heard. No idea who or what that is, though. Maybe Fen can make sense of what we saw down here. In the meantime, I'm gonna head back inside. I want to get a better look at those stone husks that were left behind. While Fen and I examine that ritual site more closely, you should return to Solitude and inform Svanna that her mother's assassin has been taken care of. She'd want to know. More than that, she deserves to know. I left Svanna back at the Lonely Troll under the care of that drunken orc Mog. Unless he ignored my rather stern warnings, he should be keeping the princess there. I'll meet you back in the city once we finish here. Anything that tells us more about what the Coven and its allies are trying to accomplish. Maybe something about this Ashen Lord. I'd even settle for a clue that points us to any other strongholds they have down here. We need something more to go on. Because I don't trust the security of the palace. Vampire or not, the assassin had too easy a time getting close to the Queen. Besides, Svanna feels comfortable at the tavern. I figured she needed some comfort after watching her mother die.
blood now runs here as it did where I just came from. Royal blood, too. Is Rathsin cursed to venture to places filled with death?
Pleased to see you in solitude, stranger.
Solitude can never be our home. Not like the frontiers of Carthold were. But it has strong walls, and we can bide our time here while we think of what comes next.
Finally! Waiting in a tavern without a drink is maddening. How do other people do it? And Mog hasn't been helpful. His solution to every problem involves a great amount of alcohol. What news of the bastard who murdered my mother? Did you find him? I would have preferred to see him dragged back here for a proper trial and execution. But at least justice has been served. Were you able to determine who was behind the murder? Was it connected to the threat you came to warn my father about? Damn those Reach witches! And damn my father for being so obstinate! But what does the Coven want? Are they planning to kill my father? What else can you tell me about this threat to our kingdom? That's horrible. But there must be more to this than simply turning my people into monsters. Well, I'll do what I can to help you. Mother would have wanted me to. What you've done and discovered will be enough to convince my father. It has to be. You and Lyris risked your lives for my kingdom and have been met with nothing but suspicion. You counted on my mother to be your advocate, to convince my father of the Coven's threat. Now she's gone. I'm no substitute, but I'll speak for you. My father hasn't heard a word I've said since I was old enough to talk. But with Mother gone, someone has to make him see reason. You know, she tried to teach me, but I never listened. I guess maybe I'm more like my father than I care to admit. That makes it even more imperative that he heeds your warning and takes action. All of the holds are in danger. Hoffingar, Hjalmarch, Karthald. My father needs to do something before another storm strikes. Meet me at the Blue Palace, all right? I just need a moment to think about how to approach this. Consider the words to use. My courtly manners are a bit rusty, and I've never been much for diplomacy and fancy speeches. Shore's bones, I could use a drink. I'm not sure of anything. If I don't do this, though, I'll never forgive myself if something terrible befalls the kingdom. That's nice of you to say, but I'm not sure I believe that. I hope she's watching all this from Sovngarde. Bet she hates it there. Look, I'll do my best to get my father to listen to you. You have my word on that. It feels like I've been shattered into 1,000 pieces and swept under a rug. But I don't have time to mourn right now. Not with the kingdom in danger. Now, let's go talk to my father before I change my mind. I'm not sure. Right. Easy as honey-baked pie. Wish me luck, Mog.
Forget luck. I suggest a slug of Kindle Pitch whiskey. You'll need it to stand up to your father. Pleased to see you in solitude, stranger.